welcome to the Raising Kellen podcast. I am sitting today with Rachel Townsend here in Dyersburg, Tennessee. And guys, it is the 1st of May Day.
Hi, Marsh. It's been roughly a year ago since we were sitting exactly where we are now, getting ready to talk about some of the same stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Yes, ma'am. So, guys, we were wanting to touch base with y'all and let y'all know what's going on with Raising Kellen in terms of the nonprofit. As Rachel's mentioned, it's been a hectic here with COVID. Here with the nonprofit, we have steadily gone on to continue our mission, which is to provide a special needs parenting digital platform to empower and educate our parents that are raising kids with developmental delay and or disabilities. The podcasts have very much been produced almost monthly, and at some months we do have 2 episodes that are recorded, but that has been coming out at a consistent rate. And tied with the podcast, we have blog articles to go with it for those that do better with visual feedback.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say the website. There's been some work on the website, and that's still a work in progress.
Yes, it is. And, Steve Heron, who is a board member on the Raising Kellen nonprofit, has donated so much of his time and expertise to keep that website going. The digital platform, to be quite honest, has always been managed by us, and we've just done the podcast and the blog. But I think as this project grows, what we really want to do is streamline those processes and improve on our quality. Mm-hmm. Specifically improving on the quality of our sound, the audio. The podcast, guys, is basically put together with these 2 girls sitting here, at our kitchen table, using equipment that we've put together, but working on that sound to create a better listener experience. And that not only requires some financial input, but actually requires audio engineers to perhaps donate their time and that may be willing to teach us. So I'm just kind of putting it out there. If there are any audio engineers that are willing to work with us on upping the quality of the audio we produce to ensure a better listener experience, guys, please contact us. And that's at raisingkellen@gmail.com. So that's the one big project that I would love to work on this year.
Marsh, is there a YouTube presence now also?
Well, Rachel, as of January, what I'd gone ahead and did was used and repurposed some of our podcasts to start up a YouTube channel, which is under Raising Kellen. What I found was that there were a lot of therapists or parents that were communicating to us out of Asia and Africa that may not necessarily have access to our podcast platforms, but what they did have access to, the power of Google. Yes. So that's what happened with that. That was why some of the podcasts were repurposed to YouTube. Now, there's not going to be anything fancy, no videos or anything of that sort. There is an audiogram on there with the podcast playing.
So, Marsh, if for some of the folks out there who have never actually visited the website, what kind of information is attainable through the website right now?
So on the website right now, Rachel, we have a little bit about what our mission and vision is. If the mission of Raising Kellen is basically to empower, educate, and inspire parents raising children with developmental delays and or disabilities. And it's also to create a community of where adults that may have adults with disabilities together with families can come together to create a commonality. And also to share stories of folks that are living their best lives. So that's the whole mission that Raising Kellen is centered around. Rachel, the vision for Raising Kellen is basically for us to join together to create a movement that challenges how the world views our children and how our children are viewed by the world. So that's what basically can be found on the website. Now, there's also stories of other parents raising their children. The disabilities are not just focused on cerebral palsy. We also address disabilities such as Down syndrome. To give you an example of some of the resources that you can find on the website, we recently interviewed Billy Price, that's the founder of Billy Footwear, which is a shoe fashioned on universal design, which allows people that may not have good hand dexterity to actually put on and take off their shoe. Other interesting episodes where we talked to Jennifer Ross, who is a physical therapist out of St. Louis Children's Hospital, and she basically talked about the Try My Best Triathlon and other resources out in the community which parents can access for their kids. Actually, this morning, which is May the 1st, I talked with Alex Lopicolo, who is known as the King of Swings. And this is a OT that uses swings during his therapy. And it is amazing because not only you would think of swings being used to calm the central nervous system down because of the rhythmic rocking motion, but not so. Alex also uses swings to upregulate kids as well.
That's interesting.
It is, and that's what, I mean, you know,
Where's he based out of?
He's based out of Gig Harbor, Washington. And this is what he does. He helps parents put together sensory home gyms. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, and you know, that's the whole reason behind why the website and the blog started, because there are so many resources out there.
Right.
That
it's an excellent way for people to be able to network and see, you know, what kind of programs or skills people have developed to help others that are, you know, going through trying to overcome whatever disability that's in front of them.
Right. Just trying to help them navigate through, or just maybe create an awareness of something that can be used easy as like a hammock swing, but how can that be adapted for their kid? And that's exactly, I mean, there is a wealth of information out there, but it is just extremely difficult to sift through it all, especially when you have your back up against the wall and you're trying to, you know, manage day to day.
It's extremely overwhelming.
So, I mean, I'm not, and by no means am I saying that our website is a catch-all or has every single resource that's out there. That is not true. It is simply that resources that we have may come across in our journey, or any of the other friends in our, you know, any of our friends, any resources that they have used or have had positive outcomes from. So that's all it is.
It's an excellent bridge.
That's it. And that's why I love doing it.
So, Marsh, what kind of sponsorships is Raising Kellen looking for right now to be able to help it in its mission?
All right. So first off, Rachel, I want to, you know, I just want to say that this has always been a kind of a solo project. But when I saw that it needed this would not be able to continue or survive just by one person doing it. It needs to be a project that's actually carried by a community of people. That is when we went ahead and organized as a 501c3 organization and got a board together. On that board is Steve Heron, Judy Hatch, Zara Martin, and Hope Khalil. And basically, to keep the project going, last year, I went ahead and authored a book called What I Wish I Knew back then, which is basically putting together some of the blog articles I wrote as a parent resource. That has brought some funds into Raising Kellen, but not enough to upkeep the actual digital platform. So we brainstormed this year, and myself together with the board came up with actually going out into the community and approaching the community regarding sponsorships for the podcast. And later on, we will look at, as the website is developed, having the community sponsors actually placed on the website. But for right now, it is just looking for sponsors for the podcast, and then with the social media post associated with those podcasts.
And so for everyone that doesn't know Marsh personally, Marsh isn't just an advocate. Marsh is not only out there working with people with disabilities every day, but she also is the mother and caregiver of her son, Keelan. And that's actually how this entire project was initiated to start with, is her love for her son being translated into an empathy that stretches out all the way across the world. Because, Marsh, you've been to several places to share your story, correct?
Yes, Rachel, that is right. And there have been parents from, other parents that have reached out as well. So that's what's been awesome about it. It's been forming that community. And my thing, which I strongly believe in, is that, yes, we are walking a journey. However, we can also help others through our lived experience. And hence the starting of Raising Kellen, the nonprofit.
So right now, Raising Keelan is looking for community sponsorships. Sharing is caring. Marsh is definitely, looking to make partners with other organizations and with corporations who are interested in helping spread awareness and would have some interest in helping this cause. Marsh, where would be what's the best way for people to get in touch with Raising Keelan to get involved, take action, or make a donation?
I would say definitely, Rachel, the best way would be to contact us at our Gmail, which is raisingkellen@gmail.com. Rachel, it's just not about what no one works in isolation, and it's about us linking hands. And I know that sounds a bit corny, but that's what it's really about. So we're going to actually take a break right now from talking about what we have going on with our nonprofit. And I'd like for Rachel to share some information on Relay for Life and what's happening at Relay for Life here in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
So we're swapping gears a little bit. Relay for Life, if everybody recalls, in 2020 did not happen because of C-19. So in 2021, we're making our comeback. It's not going to be the Relay for Life that, we once had back in 2019, but we are transitioning into something a little bit more normal. And we're hoping that by next year that we'll be able to have the community events that, Relay was actually designed to be. So the Luminaria ceremony is going to be held June 13th at the Dyer County Fairgrounds. It's going to kick off at 8:30. We're hoping to see lots of people in the community come and participate. We will have all the luminarias out. It will be a drive-through showing, and there will be volunteers there to help, but it's not going to be a get-out-of-your-car sort of thing. We're trying to keep everything very safe and contained, in respect for those who are still monitoring and observing C-19 safety guidelines. So
I'm just going to throw something out there. So Luminary, for those that are not familiar, what will the drive look like?
So those who aren't familiar, the Luminaria ceremony is our tribute to honor and memorialize those who have succumbed to their battle against cancer. So We're selling luminarias and torches right now, and those are $10 a piece. We have applications available at Dyer County Relay for Life. You can check us out on Facebook, or also find our quick links through the American Cancer Association. And the luminaria is really a pivotal point, a pivotal installment of the Dyer County Relay for Life event as a whole, because that's really where you take hands with your fellow community members, and you take that moment of silence to really be thoughtful of those who have battled, those who are still battling, those that are missed, and hopefully the goal with the luminaria is to raise as much money as possible for future cancer research, so that maybe one day we won't have to do this again. Yeah. So we really appreciate all the community support that we get every year for Dyer County Relay for Life. We are still hoping for a tremendous outcome this year. Our teams are in full force. The corporations here have been excellent and phenomenal in their support for us, and we hope to flourish.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. This is just a quick bonus episode. It's to encourage participation from the local businesses in, as far as being community sponsors and partners. And every little bit helps. And just continue listening to the podcast. I tell you what, this is the best way to consume content and just get information. It is totally free. It does not cost a single cent to listen to a podcast. Whatever it is that you enjoy listening to, whether it's faith-based, whether it's about gardening or sewing, or it doesn't matter. There is a whole ton of podcasts out there. And if you happen to listen to Raising Killen, hey, please give us a like, leave a comment that allows other folks to pick the podcast up, and as share as well. We would really appreciate that. And Rachel, any last words to end off with?
No, Marsh, I'm really loving all of our bonus episodes together. They continue to be even more interesting.
I know it. Well, guys, Relay for Life, that's coming up on the 13th of June. And we've got some awesome podcast episodes coming up. The King of Swings. There's a talk with Jessica Moxham, who has authored the book The Cracks That Let the Light In, which is basically a story. It's a memoir of what Jessica's experiences raising her son who has cerebral palsy. Jessica is an architect that's based in London. And she's just a really cool person. So that podcast is coming up. And there is a podcast with Rose Reef, who is a licensed clinical medical social worker out of Cary, North Carolina. And Rose has some real gems, and it addresses questions such as, what do you do as a parent when someone says mean things to your kids? So some really practical information.
There's a lot of people that could benefit from hearing that one.
I think so. So I'm going to work on getting that one out first. Let me work.
That needs to be moved on up the list.
I will. I think Rose is she's so practical. I mean, I love listening to it. And what was really cool about that was, when your child has a obvious disability and you're out in the community, and something that I think folks may often say without realizing the impact, and that typically is, what's wrong with your kid?
Or why are you being a bad parent? Why aren't you disciplining your child?
Amen. So she kind of gives parents tools on how to answer those questions, which is really interesting. So I'm going to work as hard as I can to get that out as soon as possible. But that's going to be Rose Reef, and I think it's going to fall under episode 42. too. So I will get cracking on that.
Yes, everyone in the whole world needs that one, and they need it quickly, Marsh, very quickly.
Okay, I'm going to work as quickly as I can. All right, guys, until we see you all the next time, this is Marsh Naidu together with Rachel Townsend. And as always, remember, get to the top of your mountain. Until the next time, bye, guys.
See ya.